Hey guys, Victor here again, and today I'm coming at you with another retro deck profile for the September 2011 format. And today's focus is going to be on Diva Hero, which honestly isn't seen all that much in Tengu Plant format. You're more likely to run into it in Edison format, where it's a very popular deck. And the main reason that I can think of for that is mainly because something that it doesn't have to compete with in Edison format is hand traps, such as Maxi and Effect Veiler, which just kind of like completely shut this deck down. Like, it's not to the point where it's unplayable, but it's definitely not favorable. So with that out of the way, let's just jump straight into the deck profile. All right, so we're going to be kicking off the deck profile with the Diva engine of the deck. So we're playing 3 Deep Sea Divas, just a fantastic card. It's able to turbo out itself, so that means if you like another monster, it gives you a free level 6 into a level 8 if you want. And then, in addition to that, thanks to the release of a card such as Gachi Gachi Gentetsu, we can actually, turn our mediocre hands, where sometimes you just open Diva and nothing else, into like a really, stall heavy hand, because getting rid of cards like Gachi Gachi Gentetsu requires your opponent to expend so many resources. So yeah, just really, really good card. And then for the last card for the Diva engine, I play 1 Lost Blue Breaker. I prefer this over the, I believe it's called Spined Gilman, but I'm not entirely sure. It's the one that boosts your guys by 500. But the reason I play this over that is mainly because this one acts as a Mystical Space Typhoon. So if you're playing against like a trap heavy deck, right, you can go Diva into Lost Blue Breaker, and then with Lost Blue Breaker's effect, you can destroy 1 card before you decide to commit even more resources. So, just little things like that help add to the versatility of this deck. And yeah, I prefer this card a million times over the other one. Then that's it for the Diva engine itself, and then we can move on to the hero portion. So we're going to be playing the 1 elemental hero Stratos because it's Stratos. Not much to say, it searches out any hero monster in your deck. And then we're also playing the 1 evil elemental hero Neos Alius. This is just basically because it's a 1900 beat stick and it's a light, and there's a lot of lights and a lot of darks in this deck. So that means we are going to be playing Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, but on top of that, having access to a light hero monster will allow us to, occasionally make cards such as Elemental Hero the Shining, which is something that I feel is like pretty much missing from like a lot of Diva Hero decks in Edison to like, help push it over the top, because Shining just gets you back your resources. It becomes immediately threatening, and yeah, it does so much for the deck. So yeah, just 1 Neos Alius. Then after that, we'll be playing a couple of Destiny Heroes. So we're playing 2 Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. This card's really cool just because if you like to gamble, it's able to do that by revealing the top card of your deck. And if it's a normal spell, you're going to be able to, use that effect during your opponent's next turn. And this is great when you're able to hit cards such as like Miracle Fusion, for example, because if you hit like a Miracle Fusion, your opponent is not going to be able to Solemn Warning it because you're just using the effect. You're not activating anything. So just powerful things like that help Diamond Dude get like a lot more value. And the same applies to cards such as, I'm not playing it, but say you're playing a Hero Lives, for example, right? If you mill a Hero Lives, Diamond Dude just ignores the cost and the condition, so you don't pay 4,000 life points, and you don't need to meet the condition of having no monsters on the field. So Diamond Dude, just a really cool card. I really enjoy it. And then for the final 2D heroes, we're going to be playing 2 Destiny Hero Malicious. It pairs really well with the Deep Sea Divas. It helps give you access to insta level 8s. Not much needs to be said. Malicious is good. Sometimes you'll draw both of them. Sometimes you'll draw none of them. Regardless, still a good card. Then after that, since this deck does banish a lot, we're going to be playing 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. As I've stated before, if you'd like to banish, this engine is pretty much invaluable because it gives you access to Levier the Sea Dragon, or Leviathan Dragon, which also does come up because Leviathan Dragon, when it leaves the field, it is a water monster, so it's going to make your Miracle Fusions more live consistently. And then you're also going to be playing the 1 Sangan to go with the Tour Guides, of course. But yeah, this engine, indispensable. It does so much for the deck. And then after that, we have 3 Effect Veilers. So this deck is pretty fragile, and I don't play any traps because I don't enjoy traps in this type of variant. So that means that you're going to be relying on cards like Effect Veiler to help keep your boards and your field, or like, just your monsters in general, safe from other like big blowout cards. So your opponents, opposing Tour Guides, any potential boss monsters like Hyper Librarian, Trishula, whatever. Trish is going to be there, or Veiler is going to be there to save your back so many times. So yeah, definitely 3 of. And then we're also playing the 2 Maxis because it's Maxi, obviously. And then after that, we're going to be playing 2 Trigodia. In addition to the Effect Veilers, this is like another extremely important card because the way that this deck plays, you can either go like super aggro, and even when you are going like super aggro, right, you still have a lot of cards in your hand typically. So Tragodia gets a lot of value out of that by being able to, you know, just take some damage, you special summon it, and it's pretty much always like really threatening the moment it hits the board. And then there's a lot of cards that sometimes you just have to discard, right? If your opponent has a Caius or something, you discard your Mali, take their Caius, and then boom, you have instant access to 2 level 6s in the form of Mali and the Caius, and even Tragodia can become a level 6 as well in case you want to synchro summon by just copying a level. And like, yeah, this card is just amazing in the versatility that it offers you. And then in addition to the Tragodias, we're playing the one Gores, the Emissary of Darkness. Not much to say. Gores is Gores. It's a really good card. And then after that, I played one Penguin Soldier. So normally this is going to be Snowman Eater, but I think Penguin Soldier is funnier, honestly. So I just wanted to bring some attention to it because it's actually like still a really good card. It's just undervalued compared to the likes of Snowman Eater, because what Penguin Soldier does, it's able to, you know, return up to 2 monsters on the field back to their opponent's hand. So it's able to recycle your own cards, and in addition to that, its main use is mainly just to bring back or return like powerful synchro monsters that your opponent summons, which are pretty frequent in this format. So if your opponent has like a Stardust Dragon or like a Scrap Dragon or, you know, things of that nature, they attack into Penguin Soldier because they think you're low on resources, or you affect Baylor the Scrap Dragon, and then you just return those 2 back, and then like the value that you get out of this card is just insane. So I just wanted to bring a highlight to this because it's super underrated and not enough people talk about it in this specific format. And then after that, you play the one Blackluster Soldier on at the beginning, you know, Soldier Boy, drop it down, win the game. That simple. And with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion of the deck. Now for the spell lineup, we're going to be playing 3 Miracle Fusion. It's very easy to get a hero monster into the grave, and it's very easy to get a water and a light monster in the grave. So with the 2 choices being mainly Absolute Zero and Elemental Hero the Shining, yeah, this card is just fantastic at helping you get back your resources and putting instant pressure onto your opponent. And not much to say, yeah, just a really good card. Then we're going to be playing 2 Destiny Draw. This is actually a card that recently came off the limited list into semi-limited, and it's not the greatest, but there are still some uses. Like, it's going to be the main way that we discard our Malicious, and on top of that, sometimes you're going to be really good at this game and be able to, you know, go activate Diamond Dude, send Destiny Draw, and just draw 2 free cards in your next turn. You know, unfortunately, I'm not that good, so it doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, you feel like the greatest duelist in the world. And then after that, we're also playing 2 enemy controllers, so I'm kind of like indifferent towards this card, but I think it has a lot of really cool uses in this deck, mainly from the fact that it's able to help you dodge key cards such as Effect Veiler, on your, you know, Deep Sea Divas, right? So you go normal Diva, they Veiler, you chain enemy controller, you take their monster, it's typically like a level 4 or whatever, and then you summon out your own Diva because a Veiler was not able to negate it, and then you just Synchro 6, you know, yada yada yada, the rest is history. And, you know, just like versatile plays like that can go a long way, and you can also use it defensively too. You know, if you have like a key monster that you want to keep on the field for one more turn, you just activate enemy controller, switch your opponent's monsters to defense, and yeah, the rest is history. So I think this card is like honestly just really cool, but it's probably the most cuttable card in my opinion. And then after that, we just have like a bunch of power 1-ofs. So we're going to be playing the 1-of Heavy Storm, the 1-of Dark Hole, the 1-of Monster Reborn, the 1-of Mystical Space Typhoon, and then we're also going to be playing 1 Future Fusion. So Future Fusion is really cool because it helps you fill up your graveyard pretty much instantly, whether, you know, you want to send a light and a hero or a water and a hero, whatever. So it will always make your Miracle Fusions live, and it instantly becomes a threat, especially if you reveal like Absolute Zero, right? Because that means they're on a 2-turn clock to try and finish you off or get rid of the Future Fusion in order to stop the Absolute Zero from coming out and wiping out their monsters. So yeah, this card's just really cool on what it can do, and I really enjoy it. And thanks to, you know, Absolute Zero only requiring heroes for some reason, because it's the only Omni hero that does that, this is also another fantastic way of helping you get your Malicious's into the graveyard, or your Diamond Dudes, you know, whatever. So if you have like a Reborn or something, you can go send Stratos, send a water, Reborn Stratos, search Mali, search Diamond Dude, normal, or discard one of them to activate another card effect, and, you know, just go to town. And this deck has so many cool ways I can actually approach playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out if you really want to. And then we also have the 1 Mind Control. Pairs really well with Deep Sea Diva and Effect Veiler to help you take a key monster and then synchro with it away, or You can even take, like, if you're able to survive your opponent's BLS, right? You might control their BLS and then BLS banish itself so you don't have to deal with it anymore. So yeah, just a really good card. You also play the one Pot of Avarice. This may seem counterintuitive because you do banish a lot, but you also fill up the graveyard incredibly easy. And it's great to be able to use this and recycle cards like your tour guides and your deep sea divas and your gachi gachis, things of that nature, so you can continue to play even further. And then just being able to go Avarice, return gachi, diva is honestly pretty great. It's a great feeling. And then you draw 2 on top of that, and then if you draw the diva again, or you already have one in your starting hand, you just do the same thing over again, and having your opponent try to out it is going to be infuriating for them. And then after that, the final spell we play is 1 Allure of Darkness. There are a ton of darks in this deck, so Allure of Darkness is a no-brainer because it's just draw 2, banish 1. Just be aware that if you mill this card with Diamond Dude, you still have to banish a card because banishing is part of the effect. So that means, you still have to fulfill it because that's what Diamond Dude does. It just makes you fulfill the entire part of the effect and nothing else. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you do mill this with Diamond Dude, so you don't end up discarding your hand in case you don't draw a dark. And then for the final card in the deck, we play the 1 Trap Dust Shoot. Not much to say, Trap Dust Shoot, flip it, win the game. It's that simple. If you don't like Trap Dust Shoot, that's fine. There's other cards you can play like Treacherous Trap Hole, or you could also lean more into the Trap Heavy portion, right? So you can play like a slower, more control base with like Call of the Haunted, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, things of that nature, but it's honestly up to you. This deck is really versatile in how it can be built. So with that in mind, let's finally move on to the extra deck portion. So for the extra deck, we're going to be starting off with the Synchro Monsters. So we're playing the 1 Ally of Justice Catastor. You don't really go into level 5s all that often, so this is going to be the only level 5 that we actually play, but it's still a really powerful one as well because, it's a dark monster and it destroys anything that it battles that isn't a dark. So if you play against like agents, this card's fantastic as long as they don't have Hyperion out. And then you also play the 1 Bryonic Dragon of the Ice Barrier, the 1 Orient Dragon, and something you don't see very often is Gaia the Force of Earth. This is mainly just in there for like those skill dream based decks because a lot of our effect monsters are effect monsters. So just being able to summon out like, some just big threatening monster like Gaia can go a long way in helping you win the game. Plus, there honestly aren't that many great level 6s with cards like Goyo Guardian banned now, but yeah, it's honestly fine. You can just play the 1, or there's like tons of other options too. If you want to try like Iron Chain Dragon and things of that nature, you can, but I just opted to go with Gaia Knight because you needed at least 1 other level 6 for like the versatility of the deck. And then we have some level 8s in the form of Scrap Dragon, Stardust Dragon, and then for the final Synchro, we have Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier because Trish is Trish and Trish is fantastic. Then we can finally go on to the Xyz monsters. So we play the 1 Gachi Gachi Gentetsu. Like I stated, if your hand is weak and you only have like the Diva play, this is still a fantastic card to end on just because it protects itself twice and it has once it's like successfully summoned, it becomes 2200 defense. So even if your opponent has like a Thunder King Rai or whatever, they can't attack it to detach materials. They have to invest way more resources. And the most common way that you typically see people out this would be like with Caius, but it's not the biggest threat in the world, and just being able to force out, a threat like Caius early on in the game so they have to deal with this is honestly invaluable. And then you have the rank 3s, so you have the Leviathan Dragon and the Levier Dragon. Leviathan Dragon is just a beat stick. Levier helps you get back all your banished resources, which does come up early, mid, and late game. And after that, the final Xyz we play is number 39, Utopia. Just good, generic. You only have 3 rank 4s you can choose from, and Utopia is usually the best one to go with. And on top of that, it's a light monster, so it helps feed into your BLS more often too, or your Elemental Hero, the Shinings, depending on what you want to do. And then after that, we just play 4 fusions. We're going to be playing 2 Elemental Hero, the Shining, and 2 Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. Cards are good. It wouldn't be Diva Hero without the Absolute Zeros, of course, so you have to play at least 2 of them. But you can work around with like the ratios, right? If you want to play 3 Absolute Zeros, you 100% can. You can just take out one of the Shinings. Or if you want to play something else like Elemental Hero Gaia, which sometimes does come up because Gachi Gachi Gentetsu is an Earth monster, and then you have Maxis, which also happen to be Earth monsters. You can take out another Shining. Just for sure, you have to play at least 2 Absolute Zeros in order to, have your game actually function. And with that, that's the Diva Hero deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!